Hello, this is Mrs. Anderton, and today I'm talking to you about punctuation tools, what to use and when. Now, writing is an art form, and there is some leeway at times and lots of different opinions. However, there are some basic rules that if you know and apply, it should make you more confident as a writer. And sometimes it's just figuring out which type of punctuation to use in which situation. So let's start with one of the easier ones, which for me is the period, or full stop as it's known in some countries. You use a period when you want to fully end a thought or the action in a sentence. For example, walking to school on a sunny day is not always as uneventful as it may sound, full stop, or period. That period there ends the action and the thought and allows you to be able to move on to your next sentence. And for periods, there are two reasons to use them. One is to give your reader a break. And in this example here, we see that that's not really happening. I'm one of those people who likes to write and write and write without pausing often because I have so many ideas and no time to stop. Your reader really needed to pause way before the end of that one. And then in this, you're building a tone or a mood through your sentence structure and your punctuation. The loud sound whipped around the old barn, causing the horses to neigh softly and stifle terror. As the sound intensified, the barn siding began to shudder and shake. Suddenly, all was still. The short sentence at the end with a full stop builds mood and tension for the reader. The semicolon is used to join two complete sentences together. Blueberry pancakes are the best, semicolon, they make breakfast so yummy. Those ideas are related, so you could have used a full stop in between or a period, but you wanted to combine them a little bit with that semicolon. And now to the harder ones, which for me is the comma, and I think the comma can be difficult because there's lots of ways it can be used. First of all, it's used to separate items in a list. This one's pretty straightforward. Example, shooting hoops, scarfing pizza, and surfing the web. Now that's the portrait of perfection. Most of us use this correctly. We know that when we have a list, we use those commas to separate that out. Commas are also used to separate two independent clauses in a compound sentence. For example, you've got to do your homework if you want to pass. That's all there is to it. Both of those are two complete sentences by themselves, but you want to join them together with the coordinating conjunction and. Remember, the comma goes before that, and up at the top there, those fanboys will help you remember which ones need the comma when you're joining two sentences. Commas also are used to set off non-essential information. For example, the principal is just an extra information that's not needed for that sentence to make sense. Number 4, commas are used after an introductory dependent clause. While snowboarding in the Andes is the start of that sentence. And those words that start dependent clauses, subordinating conjunctions, are really good to remember and help you out to know when to use a comma after. Remember to use the right tool for the job. For example, you wouldn't use a shovel to shoot a basketball most likely, and you wouldn't use a comma when you really need a period or a semicolon. That's called a comma splice. I was really feeling ill, my head was pounding. Those are two separate sentences. Comma's not good and not strong enough to join those two. For a colon, you use these when you need to introduce items in a list or provide explanation. Remember that the part on the left of the colon must be a complete sentence. You can't say the winners are ... and then have the list there. You can also use the colon here for the explanation. The barbecue was delicious, colon. It melts in your mouth, fall down and slap someone delicious. That was the explanation. Items in a list. The attendees were from all over the world, colon. Mumbai, India, New York, Milan, Italy, Shanghai, China. The peace of mind comes when you know which punctuation tool to use. Hopefully this has been helpful.
Created using Powtoon.